Jackie, what advice do you have for people who are heading out onto the mountain bike or to try and do some things to make sure that they'll have a good ride out there?
Definitely an off-road triathlon, a big thing of ours is always to arrive early. We keep saying this again and again, but it's so important in off-road triathlon. And if you have got the opportunity at all, it's awesome to just ride a lap of that course beforehand, so that when you're all panicked and you're racing, you sort of know where you're going and you know what's coming up. But we do know that a lot of age groupers that work, our families don't always get the time to do that. But even the day before the race, when you arrive, maybe if you could just go and do a couple of Ks so you know where the start is and you know where the end of the bike course is. So that's always really important. And always important after you've travelled with your bike, whether it's been put in the car or in a bike bag, that it's all in good working order. So just run through your gears, make sure your brakes and things are working. And on the bike itself, if you want to finish the race, which we all do in triathlon, it's so important to cross the finish line to feel that reward in triathlon. Then you might want to think about carrying spares. So in off-road triathlon in particular, there is a higher risk of getting a flat tire, getting a puncture, or having a mechanical issue. So for the sake of a little bit of extra weight on your bike, I think it's certainly worth taking some spares, maybe, a tube, a pump or a gas cartridge so you can put a little bit more air in your tyre or change your tyre if you do happen to get a gash. So I think that's quite important in off-road triathlon and mountain biking in general, because it doesn't slow you down too much if you know how to change those things, and at least you get that sense of achievement that you've fixed what you need to and you can carry on with the race and cross the finish line with the rest of the fields. That's super important. And then ride within your ability. There's a lot of fast people whooshing around you, or there might be obstacles on the course which you can't do. Well, that's okay. If you can't do that obstacle, or you think it might be quicker to get off and walk over that obstacle, then that's also fine, particularly on the first lap. If you're not sure what's coming up, just say to yourself, okay, I'm going to get off here. I'm going to walk over this obstacle and I'm going to get back on as quickly as I can and continue with the race. So ride within your ability. Don't perhaps try and risk something for the sake of crashing, because that will totally ruin your race. And you don't want to be that person that comes away all injured for the sake of just a little bit of pride of maybe just getting off that bike and walking around the obstacle. And that's something even we do. And that's why we love to pre-ride the course. And there might be something quite technical and you might be like, do you know what? I think I'm better off getting off at this point and then hopping back on rather than try and ride it and not be able to do it. So although I think you should give things a go, sometimes race day isn't always the place for that if you haven't had the time to practice. So definitely ride within your ability, focus on your own line, focus on what you're doing. And if someone wants to come past you, only when it's safe for you to do so. Pull off the course, and hopefully that person behind you won't put too much pressure on you. You make sure you focus on your line in your race as well. Try not get too panicked for the people that are trying to come past you behind.
That's awesome, Jackie. Thank you. Ben, any points that you'd like to add for the mountain bike?
No, I think Jackie did a pretty good job there. Not too much else. I always carry spares with me. That's important. I've had a few mechanical issues along the way, especially in races, and it's always pretty handy to be able to change a tyre pretty quickly. Just try to not panic and do what you can. And if you do struggle, I'm sure one of your fellow competitors will help you or give you some aid along the way. I've been pretty fortunate. There's some really good like-minded athletes out there that have sort of helped me, and I've tried to help them as well. So your race isn't all gone to pieces if you get a flat. Just try to fix it as best you can and carry on with the race.